permit me to bring on board Mr. Tope Toogun, who is going to be talking to us on Untapped strategic transformative opportunity for universities. Thank you, sir. I should take the floor.
Thank you very much, Prof. And thank you for the invitation. I should also probably state that I am a graduate of OAU. 1990, my first degree in English. Then I came back in 97 for a master's degree in international relations. Before I then went and acquired other degrees in other places. It's a pleasure to be here with Professor Faborodi, who is one of my bosses at the NUC. So, my apologies, I thought we were going to have like a panel discussion, so I didn't come with any prepared slides, which may, in a sense, also be good because I was able to take in a bit of what Professor Ikide shared and virtually all of what Professor Bajibala shared. And a few of those things would come into the propositions that I will be putting on the table. Permit me to look at it from two perspectives. First is a preparatory step. Before universities can tap into those transformative opportunities, what should be in place and what is the current situation? When we address those, we can then that they can tap into if they address these challenges or these situations that we're going to point out. When I'm hoping we can be very frank here today. Do I have your permission, sir?
Go ahead. This is a platform to present serious discussions so that we can talk to issues that are bothering our life in Nigeria to be able to decide which way we could go. And we have the plan that a policy brief will follow every series that we present fortnight, every time we come up like this. Thank you.
So, one of the major challenges that has hindered academia in Nigeria is the problem of governance. And a lot of the problems that we refer to, they are actually fallouts of the governance challenge. The military government made incursions into Nigerian academia, and we have never recovered from the impact or the effect of those incursions. So appointments to governing councils are now political. And the people who are there are those who are looking to feed from the system, not those who are coming to contribute to the system. Appointments of vice chancellors lately has also become very political. And for those of us who are outside, seeing what's going on, we then see a bit of that politics also being played out in the question of who is on whose camp or who is outside. Now, I'm not blaming academia for this. It is simply a reflection in Nigerian society. So it sounds a bit strange to me then when academics complain or point fingers at the wider society, looking at those same problems, and they do not or not identify with or accept that there are those same challenges internally, which I think they should. Why is that a problem? I'll give you very clear some reasons that last year, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund invited me to co-chair a committee on how to revamp the culture and practice of research and development in Nigerian universities. And we made consultations. We traveled around and we went to Enugu and met with universities in the Southeast and South-South, went to Yola, met some in Lagos. What the directors were telling us and the researchers who came when we asked questions was about, we had about even laboratory equipment being supplied to institutions and being left in cartons until maybe it's time for an inspection, then they go and dust them up. We had about equipment being supplied and people don't have manuals and universities don't bother training their staff on how to use the equipment. We had about people going or being shortlisted or selected for a TED Fund training program and not coming back with anything tangible, but simply they were shortlisted because they were the preferred candidates of this person or that person. We had that only a few, if you are not a senior lecturer or thereabout, you cannot apply for a TED Fund research grant. Knowledge is not domiciled at any particular strata of society or any particular hierarchy in academia. But the most shocking of it, so we can say that there isn't enough funding for research, but I will throw back a challenge that even the funding, paltry funding that was available, what did academia do with it? The last time the TED Fund issued research grants before last year was a few years ago. Only 28 proposals were accepted. None of those proposals, this must be 3, 4, 5 years, 3 or 4 years. None of those proposals till today have been concluded. None. Most of the research teams did not even come back for the second tranche of the money. We keep pointing fingers at the dwindling funding coming from government. Government is not funding universities enough. And I think that's a worldwide trend. It's not just us here. University systems worldwide are under increased pressure to find alternative sources of funding. But the difference in our case is we don't seem to ask the question. So the paltry funding we've been receiving, have we been utilizing it very judiciously? I was made to understand that we have universities in Nigeria where an average of 400 to 500 million naira a year is spent on diesel to power generators. And I asked the question, how much would it cost to move that university over onto an IPP that will give you 24-hour power supply and you pay less than that? And why don't we have more institutions going in that direction? It's a two-way traffic. I agree completely that we're not getting enough money to the university system. And are we judiciously utilizing what has been coming in? It's also a question that is legitimate to ask. Why will Professor Ajibola, we do meet at the Economic Summit regularly? I'm actually surprised he still remembers. I'm usually one of the small boys working at the back. He's one of our big people who, who sit at the front. Let me remind us the question of the challenge of international development is one that some of us have pondered over for a long while. And the problem is structural. Maybe we need to remind our leading academics that all the ivory has been poached. There is no more tower. That we are in the same society. We are facing the same challenges. We can trace some of these issues to things that fell apart. There was a requirement, if I remember correctly, that candidates for the position of Vice Chancellor must have attended the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies in Kuru. I'm not sure we keep to that again. It is in the Kuru manual that Vice Chancellors should be there. The starting point to connecting academia to national development is when we pull senior leaders of the university system in the preparatory process into institutions like Kuru, Director of Academic Planning, Director of this, DVC of that. Because then they can come back and lead the work based on the understanding of what the national challenges are, based on their engagement and the networks that they have formed with leaders in the military and in the civil service. Research output. And one of the reasons why, again, people say this is too academic. Most of our academics do not bother to have or go for having field experiences. If a professor is going on a sabbatical, and every time he goes on that sabbatical, he goes to another university, there is a way in which the society loses the value of what he has to contribute. Imagine every now and then if we have our academics come into sabbatical in industry. People like Professor Ajibola are rarities. Those who can combine and have successfully combined the two, but it means it can be done. It is that ability to see things from the other side that can then enrich the quality of research output. If industry practitioners are accusing Professor Ajibola of being too academic, imagine what they will say to another professor of economics who has spent all his time in the university system. Where are those opportunities that can be transformative for our society? Nigeria, if you look at the total employment in this country, 84% of all employment is generated in the small and medium scale enterprise sector, 84%. Only 16% comes from corporates and public sector and what have you. Prof. Ajibola will bear me witness that the banking industry in Nigeria does not employ more than 120,000 people in all, full-time bankers, in a country of 200 million. The quality of entrepreneurship education for students and entrepreneurship training for existing SMEs within the locality of each and every university in Nigeria is of utmost importance. Because we are now sitting on a time bomb and an existential threat to the survival of Nigeria. We have millions of our youth unemployed and unemployed. And there is absolutely no sector, I stand to be corrected, there is no sector in the Nigerian society other than our universities that can rectify or address that problem. Every 3 years, SMEDAN issues, they conduct a survey on the state of SME in Nigeria. And at the base of our structural problems is the fact that out of 41 million registered SMEs, 98% are micro enterprises, those that don't provide employment for people. Only 60,000 companies employ between 10 and 49 people. Only 5,000 companies in Nigeria employ between 50 and 200 people in a nation of 200 million. And we have universities in every single state. And remember that the third mandate of the university is community engagement. So if there is poverty all around you as a university, what is the usefulness of the knowledge you are baking in that system if it is not addressing issues in your immediate environment? That's one. Second is, and I think this has been mentioned before, the quality of our teaching and learning. And I'm particularly grateful that Professor Ekide has highlighted one fact that we've also been drumming up. Not only do we need to change the way we teach, we also need to deploy the infrastructure to support the transition, to ensure that our lecturers can be trained in new ways of delivering, and that the training is ongoing. Every single sector has that facility for ongoing training, management development, and what have you. But what do we want to use this curriculum for? What's the objective? I'm sure we all know about the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, and the pandemic has the current pandemic has even highlighted, more than any other thing, it has highlighted the need for technology and innovation. Nigeria as a country does not have a strategy for how we will engage with the fourth industrial revolution. And it is strange because it is based on knowledge. Universities are our knowledge hubs. So the task of fashioning out our national strategy actually depends on the universities. How do we, which of the fourth industrial revolution technologies are we going to, because there are 10 or 11 or 12, we don't need all of them. If it is 3 or 4, how do we bring them in? How do we train people on them? So we've launched a national strategy for digital economy. It is going to depend on universities to translate it into reality because it's an aspect of fourth industrial revolution, which boils down to what we want to do with our curriculum. That we have to look in terms of preparing students to be able to succeed in this era of the fourth industrial revolution. The third thing that I can point out as an opportunity is that now the space is there for universities to embark on active collaboration with industry. You see, the tools might be there, but if we don't work them, then we don't derive the benefits. So we say industry should come and fund research, or they should come and patronize what we've developed and commercialize it. My answer has always been, if the person was not part of the development, why should he now come in at the middle of the road when you've done something that you like, not something that you've gotten feedback that says the market is looking for? My second response again is that there is that valley that we've not crossed. The movement between development to commercialization. There is need for risk capital that we've not put in place. And until we have more collaborative undertakings between industry and academia, then we may not be able to sort of deploy those kinds of resources that we're looking for. Then collaboration helps to bring field practice into, Professor Ajibola can mobilize how many bankers to go and deliver lectures on banking. So adjunct faculty, if we want to enrich the experiences of our students, these are the kinds of things we need to be looking at. Adjunct faculty, people coming in and working with us, and our faculty too going into the field to experience things. Then you've got to cultivate those relationships. There are tax provisions in our tax codes available for companies to spend money on infrastructure, on research and development, and claim it against tax. But why will they bother if academia is not speaking the language of business? It's not engaging them. We are going cap in hand. We are begging for come and fund this. But if we are speaking the language of business, there is a limit to what anybody will dole out. Remember that unlike universities, our industries don't even have any government to go to say, give us subvention. Not only do they have to make every single kobo they are spending, they have to remain competitive in the face of Nigeria is one of the harshest environments to operate in globally. So we need to sharpen the focus in the way we engage and put out win-win propositions. So are we structured for that? Fourth area where there is a significant opportunity that is both commercial and that also cuts across our third mandate as institutions of higher learning. The Raw Materials Research and Development Council has done a geomapping of all local governments in Nigeria to identify the natural resources present in every single local government. How many universities have keyed into that to know, okay, I have 7 local governments in my immediate vicinity. Do we know the resources that are there? The Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, under this current administration, and as part of their own input into the economic sustainability agenda, post-COVID economic sustainability agenda, they have a plan to set up science and technology parks all across the country. They've actually been talking about that since 2012, because that same plan was incorporated in the science and technology policy. Then they wanted to work with universities. Now they want to do it as standalone. And why should they do it as standalone? When as universities we have land, lots of land that's unused. The thing we don't have, we can address if we want. Imagine if every university were to embark on this IPP mission, which can serve beyond the requirements of the university, and also power a light industry park or a science and technology park. Imagine the kind of economic opportunities that will open up when you bring development to a village in Sokoto simply because a university there has power that has attracted light industry. When institutions begin to take these kinds of bold steps, then you can be part of the conversation nationally. We don't see vice chancellors attending the National Economic Summit, and I've been campaigning for 3 years that's why we set up the Triple Helix platform. How can we be talking about the economy and it's only private sector and government talking to themselves? Where are the leaders in academia? Why are they not there? Why should they not be there? So 2018, we started a move to start saying, look, you have to be part of this movement. I'm also in one of the technical working groups for the Agenda 2050 proposition. And my mandate now includes ensuring that the voice of academia is heard in that development process. So the Nigerian university system that is working on a blueprint now for 2050, even before Ministry of Science, Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning started their own. What the NUS comes up with will now be taken into shaping Agenda 2050 for the nation. What I want to say as I close is, while every single complaint coming from academia is legitimate, I think the bigger challenge is on leaders in academia to also rise up and fix some of the challenges that are within their scope immediately, and also be more visible in national debates, thereby creating opportunities to tap into some of these things that we've said are available that can be tapped into.